I've just interviewed a former Olympic athlete for the Pioneering Patient podcast, and he made me think about a particular communications issue, and that's crisis communication planning. So why is that? Well, he spoke about how he used visualization before a race. He visualized what could go right, what could go wrong, and then he knew how to respond. He also used visualization for a personal crisis, for facing up to open heart surgery, and that worked well for him. And we should be using visualization in our crisis communication planning. For me, there are 3 blocks of good practice. The first is getting together all the right people so they know how to respond when a crisis happens. We then need to visualize all the things that could go wrong and how we need to respond step by step. And finally, we need to think about and visualize how we want to respond as human beings and as companies when a crisis hits. You might think, well, that's unusual. We know how to respond. But in fact, I can guarantee you that if a crisis hits and you're not ready for it, your company will respond with defensiveness, indignation, and anger. All understandable responses, but totally wrong when a crisis is engulfing you at speed. So I got a good example when I was able to use visualization for a crisis. I was working for a major pharmaceutical company, and we were facing issues with animal rights activists. We were doing our crisis simulation training, and our interviews were defensive, indignant, and angry. And then my wise boss piped up and said, wait there, we're a pharmaceutical company, we're making life-saving medicines. Why don't we act in that way? And that was a turning point for us. Now, 6 weeks later, almost on cue, we turned up at the offices and there were protesters chained to the building. They had, of course, invited the media along, and the police were arriving saying they wanted to arrest the protesters. Fortunately, we'd visualized how we wanted to respond. So we said to the police, no, leave them there, they can protest if they wish. We invited the media into the building, and we did interviews in which we said, well, the activists have the right to their opinion, and we respect that, but we're going to focus on making life-saving medicines for the patients who really need it. Now, as the morning went on, the protesters realized nothing was going to happen, so they unchained themselves and left. And in that very moment, the news story went from being top of the newscast to an also-run story. And that's because we'd used visualization techniques. Now, you can use visualization techniques yourself. Now, if you're interested in this, please add to the debate with a comment in the box below. Or if you'd like to find more about our crisis visualization program, please get in touch. Otherwise, I wish you a crisis-free day.